Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which is called a Tower Fun Fold. I prefer them called Fancy Fold, so I'm calling mine a Tower Fancy Fold card. It stands up like that. Okay, so from your shelf you would see that, and it folds nice and easily to go into an envelope. On the back of it I've put this piece here so you've got somewhere to write your greeting. I found the idea on Pinterest. I have seen it being done by several people. The design on the front, I've seen two different ones. One where it's one big triangle with a white square in the middle, or the two triangles with this one. And this idea, the card I saw, was actually by Mary Detheridge, and she actually did a video for Split Coast Stampers. So it's basically her design that I've copied. I've prepared a lot of this beforehand. It's a very, very easy card to make, but I've done a lot of it beforehand because last time I did say, in last week's video, I did say that I would show you how to put the daisies, the daffodils together. I have to say that was a much, much bigger job than I imagined, and that could be one complete video. So what I thought was, I will show you how to make the fancy fold. I'll make the complete card, and then after that I will go and show you how to make the daffodils. That way, if you don't want to know how to put the daffodils together, or you already know how to do them, then you can see the first part of the video, see how the card is actually done, and then move on. But if you want to see how this is done as well, then hang around. Okay, so I am still using the Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper, which is one of the gifts that you can choose during celebration for every £45 or €60 of an order that you put in. And this offer is particularly good because it isn't if you put an order over £45 or over €60, it's for every £45 of your order. So if you had an order that was £90 or €120, you'd be able to choose two gifts, or one level 1 gift, two level 2 gifts or one level 1 gift. Okay, it's a brilliant offer, and this particular design series paper is absolutely gorgeous. The colour scheme I'm using is going to be pale papaya with the black accent and very vanilla. I'm not using white. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the card pieces that you're going to be needing. Right, so in the box below will be all the measurements for inches and metric for A4 cardstock users, plus inches for letter size cardstock. Okay, all in the box below, but I'm only telling you inches for A4 cardstock users now. So to start off with, you need a card base that measures 5 3/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. You need 4 pieces of basic black, which measure 7/8 of an inch by 5 5/8 inches. Then you need 2 pieces of basic black, which measure 7/8 of an inch by 4 1/8 inches. Then you need 1 piece of basic black. This one's the one for the bit on the back there, and this should measure 2 1/8 inches by 5 5/8 inches. Then you need 2 black and 1 very vanilla squares that are 2 5/8 inches by 2 5/8 inches. I am actually using, this is a retired stamp set from Stampin' Up, but I'm using the largest square there. I like the stitched edging that this set of dies give, but it is a retired set. If you don't have the dies, then as I say, it's 2 5/8 inches by 2 5/8 inches. 2 black and 1 very vanilla. And another piece of basic black, which is 1 5/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. And then of course you need designer series paper, and now I just want to show you the design I've actually chosen, and it's this one. And the reason I've want to show you this is because if you see the colour of the daffodils, it's got that line of pink around it, and that's one of the things I'm going to show you at the end, putting the daffodils together, how I achieved that. Okay, so I laid that one on there. The other design, I didn't bring it over because you're going to be able to see it quite well what the second design looks like, and it's going to be the design that actually goes across here, so it'll be quite visible. So what we need now are, with the 4 pieces of designers basic black, you need designer series paper which measures 3/4 of an inch by 5.5 inches, and these should all line up. They did all line up. I've obviously got them muddled up. The only thing I warn you is be careful to make sure that you've got your designs up the right way. Then on the 2 pieces of basic black, you need a second design, and this measures 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches, both of those. And then for the one at the back, you need a piece of very vanilla, which is 2 inches by 5.5 inches. I've already done my stamping and my colouring at the back there. I haven't put my Wink of Stella on it yet. I'll do that later. And then for the last piece of basic black, you need a piece of designer series paper in your second design, unless you want to step it up a bit and use a different design in there to these 2. You could use 3 different designs. Choice is yours. Let your imagination run wild. So that designer series paper measures 1.5 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so they're all our card pieces. First of all, we're going to do the folding and the scoring. So I'm going to use my scoreboard. No, I'm not. I'm using my trimmer for this. Put that over there. Oh, got some glue on there. Right, so what you need to do first of all is put your cardstock in your trimmer now and move your cutting blade away. This is going to be for the scoring. You need to score at 1 inch, 2 inches, and 3 inches. And each time you move your card, make sure that you're pushing it so that it rests up against the back there. And then turn your cardstock 180 degrees and repeat. So that's 1 inch, 2 inches, and then 3 inches. And now turn your cardstock 90 degrees. I'm forgetting my angles here. And then you need to line up at 1 inch. Now what we're going to do is, yes, you can see my score lines there. We are going to cut from the first score line down to the third score line. Then we're going to lift the bar up, and we're going to go down again and cut from the 4th down to the 6th score line. We're going to move it over to 2 inches and repeat, and then we're going to turn around and do exactly the same on this side. So we finish up with 4 cut lines and 4 cut lines on that side. Okay, so let's get the cutting blade, line that up 1 inch, and it should be 1 inch then, there. Because I'm looking at this at an angle, I will probably cut a bit short, but that's okay. I'll go back in with my scissors afterwards. That's cutting down to 3 inches. Yes, that's probably a bit short. Right, hold that in place, lift this up, bring it down to 5 1/4, I believe that is, and then cut down to 7 1/4. Move this over to 2 inches and repeat. So that's up to 1 inch. Down to 3 inches. 5 1/4. Down to 7 1/4. Turn your cardstock around. Line up at 1 inch again. Get your cutting blade up, but don't slice it over your fingers. Oops, now come back, we want you at 1 inch. There we go. From 1 inch down to 3 inches. 5 1/4. Down to 7 1/4. Move it over to 2 inches. Yes, I can see that I'm falling a bit short here, but that's okay. I'd much rather do that than cut too far, which I've probably done in places anyway. Oops, yes, I can see one that I have big time. Right, 5 1/4. Down to 7 1/4. That one there is way over. Well, we're about to find out how much of a difference that's going to make, if any. Right, so I'm just double checking that these are far enough. That one is too far. That one could do with a little bit extra. And that one could do with a tad extra. There we go. Right, now you need your bone folder, and first of all we are going to turn your cardstock over, because you want to fold these back. Give it a nice burnish. Turn it around and do the other side. Right, I just have a thought here. Oh, that's okay. I was just thinking that maybe I ought to put a bit of tape behind there where I've cut that, but that's going to have that's going to go over the back of it, so it won't cause a problem. Right, now what we need to do is, we're not going to fold on that line there, nor that one there, but we need to have this first one coming, no, that's the way it's going, isn't it, because that's our front. So this one is going to come up as a mountain fold, that's going down as a valley, that's coming up as a mountain, that's going as a valley, and that's going as a mountain. Okay, just remembering that you don't want to bend that fold there. It's not the end of the world if you do, trust me. And then gradually it will give way, let you win. Okay, and on the ones that it's possible to do, give it a burnish. I think this is the one that is more difficult to give a burnish to. So I've done that, and I've done that, and I've done that. Oh, that's okay. Right, let battle commence again. So we're going to push this one up, mountain, valley, mountain, And that's the valley, and that's the mountain. Right, so and burnish those ones. Let's burnish those. So there we go, that's our card. Is that right? That should be at the back. Oh, that's better. Didn't look quite right then, but yep, that's fine. Okay, so that's it. That's your card made, nice and easy. So what we need to do next is we're going to adhere all of these pieces on. Now, I feel that I'm cheating a bit by doing that ahead of time, but there are other videos where I do show you painting and such like. I just feel that for today it's probably best that I don't do that one. So first of all, we're going to do these four here. I don't think it really matters whether these line up or not, but I do know that all of these daffodils should be facing upwards for them to be the right way up. Okay. That's right, I can see that one. Oh, I probably separated them into twos, one for the back, one for the front. That's it there. There we go. I did this on another card. I went to a lot of trouble to make sure I lined them all. In fact, I think it was last week's card, wasn't it? Lined them all up so they went followed through. But instead of adhering them, 1, 2, 3, 4, I did 4, 3, 2, 1. Which was the absolute opposite. I couldn't have made them more different. Well, I suppose I could have done really, but I just got it totally wrong on that. I wanted to also explain, if you saw last week's video, which was the single fold easel card, I said I'd got the design from somebody who goes by the name of H-Made Studios, and I gave a link for her, and I said that she was an ex-Japanese demonstrator, but they'd closed our Japanese office. Now, one of my mantras is always assume nothing. It came out of driving. Never assume what another driver is going to do. Big, big mistake. Anyway, I had assumed that about this young lady. In fact, I still don't know her name. But she very kindly got in touch with me. She left a message underneath, a comment underneath my video. And she said, you know, first of all, thank you for mentioning my website and that. And she said, I'm actually Korean, and I live in the US. And I thought, well, that explains why I was a bit confused about why she was using A4 letter size cardstock, because I was convinced it was only the US that do that, US and Canada. But she used to be a demonstrator. She's not at the moment. Apparently there's a story attached to that, which I don't know, which that's fine. But very nice young lady. As I said to her, I'm glad to see that even though she's not a demonstrator, she's still putting out her videos. So do check her out. I think last week's video she did was a desk stand that had a post-it note to it and a calendar. Right, so that's the back, isn't it? That one. Just double check this because I really don't want to tell you the wrong way round. So you turn it over the dip with those. Right, okay. So this is the back, okay? So you've got your steps, the 2 steps in the middle here are the back of it. It's not where you've got these long strips over here. That is the front one. So let's just put the one on here. I'm a lot more confident about my the measurements I give you now that I'm doing it ahead of time onto my post-it notes. Make sure I'm up the right way. All my daffodils have got to go the right way. There we go. So this is the front. So we'll have the 2 narrow pieces first because they're going to go across here. Get rid of that bit. As I said, this design series paper is from Daffodil Afternoon, which is one of the gifts that you can get from Celebration, which is on at the moment and will run until the 28th of February. There's also a special promotion at the moment for people who'd like to join Stampin' Up, whether they'd like to join as a business builder like me or as a hobbyist. And hobbyists are what I like to call savvy shoppers because they don't join just to get the discount on their shopping. So if you'd like to join, please get in touch and I can explain it to you. My email address is janb@janbcards.com. Right, now this one. I keep taking off a piece of pink post-it note and think that I've done it, and then turn something else over and there's another piece. I'm not really a yellowy person. That first card was, I've used crushed curry. But I did my first real daffodil in more traditional colours. But I have had fun trying to get the daffodils to match up there. But I think I've succeeded. Right, there we go. That's all of that. Now, I think I will put that on. No, I'll do my stamping first and then I'm going to put the squares on and then I can move on to the daffodils. I'm using Pear Pizzazz ink because I'm going to be using Pear Pizzazz cardstock for my stem and my leaves. And my sentiment, which you've seen me use before, in fact it's very well used, this one, is from Garden Birdhouses, and it's this one here that I'm using. This would be a great one for welcome to your new home. In fact that says welcome back, that's good as well. Welcome, so glad you're here. It's a great stamp set, that one. Oh, don't put it on there. Let's put that down there. looks as if it could be re-inked. I wish I was more organised. That means checking my ink pads before I actually start videos. Oh, that's better. Just needs a bit of patience, and I'll try and remember to re-ink this before I tidy up. Now I'm going to pop this onto my grid paper because I do find it easier trying to get things straight, and I hope I don't put my head under the camera. Oh yes, that's good. So that's all I'm going to be doing now for stamping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first diamond on there, and what I'm looking at, you can either measure that so you know what exactly is the centre. I'm not, I'm going to eyeball this, and what I'm looking for is, I'll do it like that so you can see it a bit better, but I'll obviously lay it flat while I do it. I'm going to put that so it comes up to the black there. I don't want it to come over the top because it's got to go in my envelope, although I do know that the UK envelopes, or at least the A4 envelopes for A4 cardstock users, has plenty of room on top to put extra standing out, but I like it to be equal, and you can't put it coming out from the further down here at the bottom, otherwise it won't stand up properly on the shelf. Right, so the other thing that I'm looking for is not only these triangles here, the papaya triangles are the same, I'm also going to make sure that that point and that point are equidistant away from this black line. Okay, as you can see, it'll come down a bit off the onto this panel here. That's fine. So I'm going to just put some glue down that centre bit. Make sure I've got this the right way up. Put that up to the black there. Make sure my papaya triangle is about the same, and that is about the same down to the black. There we go. Let's just pop that down to give it a good press. Now the second one, I heard something sticking. Second one I'm going to do exactly the same, only from this end. If it makes it any easier, you turn your cardstock round. Nobody's going to notice this, but that's upside down. Shh. The expression, do as I tell you, not do as I do, springs to mind. That'd be quite easy, just to cut another piece and pop it on top if it really bothered me. But I was looking at something the other day, and it wasn't oh, I know what it was. I was looking at a card that somebody had done using tea bag folding, which is one of those things that I really do think is clever. I love it. Let's open this up, it's easier to see. And she had used an embossing folder of script. It wasn't Stampin' Up. Not that I was saying Stampin' Up demonstrators wouldn't do that. I mean, it's the kind of thing I'd do. But she had the script sideways rather than horizontal. But I'd seen that picture so many times before, and it was only yesterday that I noticed it. There we go. Okay. So if we turn that round, I'm back up the right way. I'm going to pop this on here, and this is going to be positioned again, watching how it fits on both sides. Now I need to leave enough room for my stems to come down. So what I think I'll do, how far did I do it on that one? Yeah, I suppose I did that about the same distance all the way round, didn't I? But that's all right. Okay. I'm going to do it like that. Right, again, I'm going to just put, and it doesn't matter if it all goes down, does it? I'm going to put glue and leave a triangle there. Okay, let's see what happens with that. I think that should be up a little bit. It's very difficult to see whether something's straight when you're looking at it from an angle. I think that's better. Right, okay. So let me show you my daffodil that I've made. Okay. I've used pale papaya and I sponged over very lightly using some smoky slate ink to make it a bit more dull, and then I went round the edge using a Stampin blend in Dark Fresh Freesia, and that was the pink that I came up with. Okay, now the reason I did the grey, in fact, let me just bring over here what I've been playing with on this one. I'm not going to actually do it now, but I just want to give you an idea. I will come back to it. You might think, oh, there's a lot of fussing around for that. But look, if I take that, you can see how much brighter that is. And then it had one of those on it. And then you compare that with the paper. I mean, that is pretty close to the colours there. Whereas that is really, you look at the brightness there. You may not agree with me, but I think it has made a big difference. So that's what I'm using. You can go back, and you can go back there. You can see why it was such a mammoth task, cutting out all the different bits and the different things that you can do with this. Let's put that down there. The last thing I want to do is drop it. Right, okay, so next I had one of these. Oops, come back. And these are to go this way. So what I wanted, now it really doesn't matter whether you have your daffodil going up, going down, whatever. This one I had it going down. So this one I'll do it going up. But I want it so that that little bulbous bit there can be seen. And then I want this to go underneath so that it's coming out the top. So it's helping to fill out that black bit up there, and these down here are helping to fill the black bit in here. Okay, now that one is coming just down to the end, but that one I have to cut very slightly. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing with this. Let's do this one first. Let's just cut that off first, and I know where I'm going. And when I cut these off, because they've got like a rounded edge already, and I don't want to just do a straight cold snip across, I'm just going to cut this at an angle. Just cut very slowly, turning the stem around, and then when I get to the edge, trying to make it so that it's not a sharp point. I don't mind if it's not a perfect curve, as long as it is a curve. There we go. Okay, can you see the shape of that? Yep. Right, Tombo. Now I've got my paper here, because if I put too much glue on, I'll blot it before I put it onto my card. That's the trouble when you have to give it a shake like this. It generally does come out too quickly, in particular when you are wanting to put some glue on something that is so narrow. I'm just, yep, you can see me. I'm just doing that like that. Just let that bit stick down. I see I've got to re-stick the other one that came up. I'm going to be putting that on with dimensionals. I'm going to do it that way, aren't I? So I'll do it upwards. Yep, that's good. And then this piece needs to go on next. And I said that the end of this is going to come down to the edge of my card. Or at least I'll try and match it up, however far that's come down. Although it was a mammoth task playing and trying to get the daffodils sorted out, I have enjoyed it. I have already had a go with the tulips, and maybe another time I can do that, I'll show you those. Right, I'm going to hold this down so that the two are together, more or less. Can you still see me? Yep. Okay. There we go. And now this I'm going to do with dimensionals. First of all, I do 3 big ones, but I'll do it to hold those together. Not that they're likely to come apart. And then I'll put 3 small ones on as well. I also added 2 of the bumblebees onto my card. You could use that, or you could use the new brushed butterflies, brushed brass butterflies. There we go. See, my daffodils really coming quite off of the card, off the square bit, but that's okay. Do you think that should come down a bit? How much did I show there? I've showed a lot, haven't I? Will you come up without making a mess, please? Yep, you will. Good, good. That's it. Right, I'm happy with that now. I'm going to get 2 of the bumblebees and I'm going to pop them on using a dimensional, not dimensional, glue dot and a bit of Tombow as well. Oops, that didn't go on very well, did it? Let's just pull that back on. And where did I put these? Put one up here. And the other one was up here. As you can see, I was quite happy with my positioning of these. So I'm going to copy it. That was like that. And this one is going to be, which way were you facing, going upwards? And then this leaves me enough room to do my bow. Now on this, I'm either going to use some, I imagine, retired ribbon, or I have a, well, my last bit of Papaya ribbon, but I like that, or the green one. That's the green one. Let's see. I don't know. I used to be indecisive. Let's do the green. I know the green one worked well for the first card. Whichever ribbon you have that you think is suitable, go for it. There are very few things Stampin' Up that I will use once they've been retired. I've used 2 today. One is the squares, the dies, but then it's easy to say a 2 5/8 inches square for what you need. And ribbon, I just feel that I get so much of it that it's such a waste not to use it. So I encourage you to use what you have. I know I never win any prizes for being good at selling, but then I like my customers to buy what they would like to buy. I know I'll probably get fired now, but hey ho. Right, that's that on there. Got a little bit of Tombow. The reason I do this, really, I think, is glue dots are brilliant, but I don't think they actually, I find they still allow whatever you're adhering on to move a bit, whereas Tombow will actually anchor it down so it won't move. There we go. So there's today's card. So let's have a quick few minutes just looking at these. First of all, I'm going to show you my card that is actually, I've actually adhered this together. Okay. that's my favourite colour of Daffodil, where you've got that bit, the dark orangey bit in the middle, and the white on the outside. But I've tried doing all sorts of things. So first of all, what I'd like to show you is, these are all the dies you get. One of the really great things is there are 2 dies of those, there are 2 of those dies, 2 of those, 2 of those. So when I was doing all the die cutting here, it didn't take as long as it could have done had I only had 1 set of dies. That there and that one there, they die cut stamped images, and that's a stamp set that goes with this. Okay, beautiful, easy, lovely to paint images these are. Okay, so that's what those 2 are. Okay, let me put them over there. Obviously those 4 are self-explanatory. That's over there. My ribbon's just gone on the floor. But for the rest of this, you look at it and think, oh my goodness, how does all this go together? And there's one bit in particular that is got a big question mark over it. So if we look at these here, what I've done is that die plus that die equals this. Okay, this one and this one, that is that plus that equals that. And then once you've made one of those, you need to make 2 of these and then put one on top of the other. Now what I have found when you do this is, let's take 2 from here. This is the biggest piece. Can you see the one that's got the funny bent bit at the end there? And my first take was to put them opposite each other when I put on top, but that made it look too skinny, right? Too tall and too skinny on this side. So what I do now is I put them side to side. And I think that makes this come up a much, much better size. Let me lay that down so you can see it without my fingers. Okay. In fact, that's with it, with them opposite, next to each other rather. And that is it together. Let's put it up that way. You see, I think that looks a lot better balanced than that one does. Matter of opinion. At least you can see it to make your own choices. But so far so good. It is all very easy. Right, I'm going to do that for you. So that was very much like the one that I did on there. I'll show you how I did that. Now these ones I don't like. I have to say, don't like them. And that is that and that equals that. Okay, so that's these 2. That looks like a duck or crocodile or something. And that looks like a creature as well. Right, I digress. Now these 2 here are that one and that one. Okay, so they go on each other. I need to bring 2 of those over as well, don't I? Oh no, not 3 of you. That's enough. We have one of those and one of those. I will also show you the bud as well, which I haven't used. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you how I made my daffodil. Now I'm going to do it on here. I have one of our daubers, and that I need smoky slate. I didn't bring any yellow ones, did I? To show you how I did that. Okay. So this is the one for the video I've just done. Okay, this is for that Daffodil. Right, you can see that. So I get my ink and I take off most of it because I really don't want that. And all I did was for this bit, no I didn't, no. Oh right, okay, I did it on these two bits because I didn't want it to be too heavy, which that is. Oh, that's better. You can only just see that on that one. Reject. Yeah, another one. As you saw, I got a whole tray of them over there. Right, let's give that a... Okay, so that's fine. I'm happy with that. So bear with me while I just adhere the two leaves together. And I want to show you the easiest way to line these up as well. That one there, which I said is the tallest one, got this one next door, and this is like quite a definite pointy bit. And I have learned that this pointy bit here goes down here, and then everything fits in nicely. So whatever you can see there and you think, oh, that's easy to remember because of, just make a note of it and you'll never struggle getting these together. Oopsie daisy, look what I've just done. I let my card knock over. I think that needs another bumblebee, don't you? Let's just close that up for the time being. So I'm going to put glue on the little fingers as much as possible. And tweezers. Okay, so I've got my pointy bit down here. Okay, so there's that one. Let's pop this one on. When you do a lot of die cutting, I think it might have been last week I mentioned this or the week before, you might find that it gets more and more difficult to get your die cuts out of the die, and if that happens I suggest that you use wax paper between the cardstock and the die. Concentrate, what are you doing? Put the die down and then wax paper and then your cardstock, and it's a lot easier to get out. And the thing that's reminded me to tell you about that is, I don't know if you can see from where you are, but I've got a little mark there. I had to push so hard to get that out of the hole that it's actually made a hole in my die cut. I knew that I should have been taking out the wax paper. I just didn't want to stop. Now can I cover that up? Oh, that's convenient. Okay, so where's the big one? So that's the big one with that funny cutout on the side there. And that's the cutout as well. Okay, so they're the same. You can tell by the fingers. So I'm going to put that like that. So let's just put a little bit here. Okay, so now for my others, let's do these. Now I only need very, very little bit of smoky slate on this, very, very gently, just to tone it down very, very slightly. Now you probably may not be able to see this, but I just want it to look a little bit on the dull side. I just love that design on the DSP, which is why I really thought it was worthwhile trying to work out how I could actually achieve the look. Oh, I need to adhere that on first before I start trying to colour it. There we go. Just going to stick that down a bit. Pop that on there. Oh, as you can see, the top, the fancy die cut is a lot darker. I've sponged it a bit more enthusiastically, shall we say. So there we go, that's that. So I'm happy with the colour of the pale papaya. So now I want to do this. And I think I used the pen end, but I just went to the very, very end, very gently, because obviously it's alcohol ink in here and it will spread. So just do your best to keep it right on the edge. Now the problem is with this, you want the colour on the top of the rim. So when you get round to this side, the top of the rim is here. Can't see what I'm doing. So when you get to either end, they don't join up. Okay? Now you can either leave that or just join them up. I prefer mine to be joined up. Did I do that on that one? Yep, I did. Joined the colours up. Okay. So that is how I did that. And that is going to go on there. I mean, this bit you could pop up on dimensionals if you wanted to. So there we go. There's one that really suits the designer series paper. Where did I do the paper? I will put photographs of the die cuts on there on my blog the same day that the video goes live. Okay, so let's put it with that one there. I think that's pretty good, she says very modestly. I hope you think so too. Right, now the bit that is really curious. Now when I first saw this, you see there's a butterfly die here, in fact two of them. There's that one and there's that one. There's also this and this. Okay, now on this sheet, I'll keep all those together. Okay, so what I did was I did a big butterfly, small butterfly, and I put that on top because to me that looks like its body, and I thought with the hole there that's great because you could put a gem in there. But apparently what it is you're meant to put it with that like a flower type thing, like that, so you get that. And that is meant to be a stamen that goes inside the tulips. But I don't really see how that works, because for it to go in there, yeah, I did do some. This will show up quite, I mean, it's not going to go in there properly, is it? Whichever way you look at it. It should at least have a flat edge to go in there. unless of course you put it in there before you sellotape that, before you adhere that right down. So I don't know. For me, I'm more inclined to use it for the butterfly. And this is the stem, the bud as well. So what I did was I just sponged the outside and the ink on here as well, and that one. I always do tone on tone. So that was pumpkin pie, so it had pumpkin pie ink. This was crushed curry, so it's got crushed curry ink on it. This one I sponged over with a bit of smoky slate because I wanted to see what that would look like. And this one here, the one I don't like, you have that, and you make that, and then you have that and make that, and then you are meant to put that across there. Well, that one I did it, how did I do it? One was upside, one upside down, the other one. That one went underneath. Can't remember how I did that one now, but I turned this round the other way, that's it. This one, it's down at the bottom here. Is that loose? Oh, it's not meant to be. And on this one, I turned it so that these are these ones coming down, and this is going across there. So I preferred this one, but I don't particularly like it. These I love. Once they're sponged, I love these. I think these are really great. Okay, really love that. But as far as these are concerned, I don't like this bit at all. But it's a fabulous set, and I'm really, really pleased that what they've done is they have given us 2 dies of so many of these. You can imagine when I was doing all of this, it would have taken me ages. And I'm really, really thrilled with this. This is my absolute favourite. I love it. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you've learnt from me about these daffodils, how you put them together. As I say, it could have been a complete video just on its own showing you how to do this, but I'm not sure that you would want to spend that long something like this. Tell me what you think about the format of this video. If you don't like it, let me know and it won't happen again. If you did like it, then maybe I will try and incorporate something like this again in future. Alright, so many thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and I hope you give it a try. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box below the video, and I will get back to you. All the measurements and the products I've used will be in the box below the video. And if you do shop with me, first of all, thank you for your business. If you don't already have your own demonstrator, when you do place an order, please add the hostess code so that when I send you happy mail at the beginning of February, I can also include some free product for you. Okay, so many thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, happy crafting, cheerio.